And they had been running the ball good all day. Laporta motions across. St. Brown will come around, will take the pitch. And, of course, they weren't expecting this. Amazing play call. Watch all the motion. Watch everyone from Seattle go one way. Great throw, great call. The Detroit Lions offense under Ben Johnson is effective, creative, and so much fun to watch. So sit back, relax, and let me hand you a ticket to the Ben Johnson Theater. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. The Lions offense in 2024 has turned into must-see TV. So let's go through some of the highlights from this season. Let's walk through it play by play. Let's look at the players, the key matchups, the concepts, and everything that goes into the creative mind of Ben Johnson and how he makes this offense something that is so fun to watch. Let's go. Our first act starts out in Week 3 of the 2024 NFL regular season where the Detroit Lions took on the Arizona Cardinals. The Lions are coming in at 1-1, and at this point in the game, they're at the second quarter late. 36 seconds to play. The Lions hold a 13-7 lead. Now, the Arizona Cardinals actually opened up hot offensively, and the question for the Lions at this point throughout the season, was can the defense hold up against a hot Arizona offense? Well, at this point, they hadn't proved that, so the Lions offense really had to find a way to separate in this game. So Ben Johnson's offense took over at this moment. So you see here for this play, you have a quad set of wide receivers. And again, guys, I don't have all of the set terminology. Please don't kill me in the comments. I am willing to learn along with you. I played a ton of football in my life. I haven't been a coach for a long time, but certainly I do know the game. I will give it to you from my perspective, and certainly let me know down in the comments if you have any concepts or language that we should have moving forward. I always appreciate it. So in this particular play here, again, you have 4 wide receivers in this set for the Lions. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown lined up to your far right down here. You have Sam Laporta, which is typically your tight end, your inline wide receiver there, your slot receiver. Your other slot receiver to the left is Jameson Williams. And then you have Tim Patrick, your X wide receiver here to your far left. In your backfield, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, your fantastic running back, of course, Sonic. And then in this play, you're really playing against, I would say, is Arizona's base defense, right? You have 2 down linemen and what looks to me like 4 linebackers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at the onset, it looks like you have some man-to-man concepts against Amon-Ra St. Brown here at the bottom, with this cornerback lined up pretty close to the line of scrimmage on Amon-Ra St. Brown. You also have this cornerback here up top, which seems to be eyeballing Jameson Williams here. And then you have what looks to be another man concept at the top with Tim Patrick here. Then you have your 2 deep safeties. This one looks to be responsible for Sam Laporta, just from the onset before the snap begins. And this looks to be your free safety here. So this is kind of what Jared Goff is reading here pre-snap. Let's jump into it just a little bit, see what we get. Now off the line of scrimmage here, let's start from the bottom. Amon-Ra St. Brown and that cornerback locked up pretty heavy, okay? And that's going to play a key part in this play here. Sam Laporta, again, off the line of scrimmage. He's going to run a straight route, kind of looking to run this safety off of the play. Okay, that's going to be his responsibility for this particular play. J-Mo is going to run sort of an out route in this case. And I think he's not really part of this play. He may be an outlet if things don't work out, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. And this cornerback seems to be locked up on Jameson Williams, like we said from the get-go. Tim Patrick, again, he's locked up with this cornerback. His responsibility is basically to run him off down the field. He's going to run a straight route, all the way down the field, run him off. Let's run this just a little bit more. You see that Amon-Ra St. Brown has now run 3-4 yard in route, slant route in. You can call that a couple different things. And that's going to be Jared Goff's primary read. That's where he's going with the football. You see Sam Laporta continuing to run his route downfield. J-Mo's running his out route. And Tim Patrick at the top, again, running him off. You see Jahmyr Gibbs, who was next to Jared Goff from the shotgun in this particular formation, stayed in the block and then sort of lost himself outside of the offensive line, right? He's now working his way up to the line of scrimmage. You see these linebackers here for Arizona still keying Jared Goff at this point. Let's run it a couple more. Ball comes out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, okay? Again, Sam Laporta is still running his man off. Tim Patrick still running his man off. Jameson Williams still running his man off. So the two key players now are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Amon-Ra St. Brown in this play, this is the old hook and ladder, is going to receive this football, then pitch it back to Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going to run it around the right end for a touchdown. Let's watch this play out, then we'll go back and hit a couple key points. There's the pitch. Takes it the rest of the way for the score. Let's take it back just a moment. So back at the beginning here, it's very important, I think, in this particular play that Amon-Ra St. Brown gets a good release in his pattern. Because if he doesn't get a good release, that initial throw doesn't take place. That slant, that 3, 4, 5 yard in pattern for Amon-Ra St. Brown has to be clean. So that's the first thing in this play that we have to have. Let's watch that in detail. And you see here, he was locked up pretty heavily, but he gets a good release, a little hand play to get a release and be able to receive that ball. The other key thing here is that Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get held up either behind the line of scrimmage, either with a linebacker. These two linebackers played pretty deep. Matter of fact, they really didn't blitz anybody at all. They blitzed their four that they had up. Everybody else sort of played in this either a man concept on the outside, or these two linebackers were sort of in a middle zone almost, two middle zone areas. Well, that played perfectly into this concept for the Lions because Amon-Ra is able to get off his man, make the catch. You get a clean pitch here to Jahmyr Gibbs with no interference here from anybody from the Cardinals, and he's off and running. Now, I'd say the last key piece to this is Sam Laporta still working downfield. Even after all this played out, if he doesn't get this block, this touchdown doesn't take place. So you got to give Sam Laporta a lot of credit. He actually takes an ankle injury on this play. Jahmyr Gibbs finishes it up. Again, just fantastic play calling by Ben Johnson. And so many things have to happen for this play to go right. You have to have symmetry in the pass, the reception, the pitch, and then obviously you have to have blocking downfield. So many things coming together, all designed by Ben Johnson and that offense for the Lions. The other thing about this is we talked about Lions had to find a way to separate themselves in this football game, and there's no way the Cardinals expected this. I don't think the Lions over the past several seasons have showed this particular play. And again, a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. Lions go up 20-7 at that point late in the first half. And they did have to hang on, but the Lions defense was actually very good in the second half of this football game. But that was just part of the big picture here for the Lions to get the win in Arizona. Our second act comes from week 6 as the Lions took on the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. At this point, they are up 10-3, about midway, early on through the second quarter. But the Lions offense just hadn't exploded just yet. And remember, they are trying to make a statement here in Dallas. So thinking about the creativity of Ben Johnson, they really put something together here before this game got out of hand. Let's take a look at it. Let's first start with the formation. You have Tim Patrick to your far right. You have Sam Laporta as your inline tight end, but you also have Brock Wright on the other side here. And then initially you had St. Brown offline, your far left wide receiver. He is motioning across this formation. And you have David Montgomery in the backfield with Jared Goff under center. So let's start the slow-mo here as Amon-Ra St. Brown continues across in his motion. He then stops his motion as Jared Goff reverses back and will make a pitch to David Montgomery. Now, Tim Patrick's responsibility will be to run what looks to me like kind of a straight pattern, and I believe he's looking to run off any sort of safeties that would have been playing back here at this time. So not only do you have your deep safety, but you also are looking to kind of take up eye space here for whoever is deep in this particular formation for Dallas. This is the only deep route at this point in this formation. Everything else at this time looks like a run play. So that's really what the trickery in this particular concept is for Ben Johnson and the Lions offense. Everything is keying in on or hoping that the Dallas Cowboys key in on a run play. So the pitch is to David Montgomery, but with that motion that Amon-Ra St. Brown have, he's going to circle back around and take a pitch from David Montgomery. He is then going to flea flicker pitch back to Jared Goff. Now, we're going to go back and watch this a couple times because you have some fun things happening with your offensive line, your tight ends at this point. Here's Sam Laporta, who initially stayed back and chip blocked, but he's now going to leak out, okay, of this pattern. Now with all this action, which again, they're hoping to key on the run here for Dallas. So at that point, Sam Laporta is able to get himself free, and Jared Goff puts a very nice touch pass out into open green here with Sam Laporta. 28 here, who was initially covering, I believe, Amon-Ra St. Brown, got sucked back to the other side of the field because of all that motion. Again, Jared Goff lays it out there for Sam Laporta, and he does the rest to get himself in the end zone. There's Tim Patrick making just another touchdown field. Players blocking downfield, everything coming back involved. Let's take a look at that one just one more time. And we talk about the continuity and everything that has to come together for these concepts to work out, to pay off. And one of those things is the offensive line. For this particular play, they have to block for a long time for this to work, for the pitches to all play out, for the flea flicker, for Jared Goff to have enough time to complete this throw. So let's focus on the offensive line. Let's start with Frank Ragnow here, who he doesn't have to make some miraculous block, but let's look at his responsibility during this play. Obviously, everybody else is sort of making it look as if we are run blocking, okay? That's the idea here. It almost looks like a zone scheme. Frank Ragnow will initially make the touch here on the defensive lineman, and then he will pull off, okay? He's actually going to pull off and look for anybody that may have come off or broke free of their block, you know, to make sure we have that extra protection for Jared Goff. He's sort of that second layer of protection because they are in a max protect mode. Well, he drops off again as that second layer, again allowing that extra time for Jared Goff to be able to complete this beautiful touch throw to Sam Laporta. And again, to be able to have all the pieces the Lions have to execute these plays is so huge. Amon-Ra St. Brown's role in this is maybe the biggest part, right? Because his motion causes Dallas to really pay attention to what he's doing. Initially, he sort of gets passed off to 28 here. I think this is 28. He's keying in on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, once he comes back, 28 then flows back the other way. Okay, that then takes him out of the play altogether. Tim Patrick remembers running off the deep safety. Sam Laporta's just hanging around with this extra chip block, waiting for the opportunity to break free and far down the right end. Okay, so then the play happens. And I'll show you, here's 28 who had gotten run off on the other side of the field. If he is more in position over here, this play probably doesn't happen. So then Sam has all this open field in front of him to complete the touchdown. It all has to come together. It all worked. That will do it for my first session of Ben Johnson Theater. What did you guys think? What plays should we hit on? There are so many options, and I plan to go over a ton of them. But let me know if you want to see any particular plays in the comments down below. I would love to know what you think. Thank you guys so much for hanging around for this video. Make sure to hit that like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports. I'd love it if you consider subscribing. We're now on the road to 3,000 thanks to you guys. And if you hit the notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. Again, I appreciate your time. More than anything, make sure to take care of your mental health. More than anything else, I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Thanks again. Go Lions.